Well, we are joined now by Emily Boyle for the press review. Hi, Emily. So you're starting us off today with the French papers. What have you found today?
There's only one story really on the French front pages today. Let's start with Libération. They're talking about Bayrou's self-dissolution. That's how they put it on their front page there. The Prime Minister announced a vote of confidence in his government on the 8th of September in his press conference yesterday. This comes as four major left-wing parties had called for a general strike on September 10th. For Le Figaro, it's a very, very risky business and a high-risk gamble, an attempt at electric shock therapy, according to this article, which Bayrou hopes will force parties to the table. L'Opinion also covering this on its front page there. The Prime Minister has precipitated a predictable departure, it says, but the consequences could potentially be explosive. This cartoon here describes the mood pretty well. Bayrou's job and his budget will need a miracle to get through the next few weeks. But Le Parisien goes into a little bit more detail about what Bayrou is going to need in order to survive and what might make him fall. Several parties have already announced they will be voting against the government, including Marine Le Pen's Rassemblement National and the Right Union for the Republic Party, as well as three left-wing parties. This article says that it's all going to depend on whether the Socialist Party sticks to its guns and votes against the government, or if it's brought in to negotiate. For Le Monde, though, the negotiation hypothesis is out of the window. In this interview, the first secretary of the Socialist Party, Olivier Faure, says it's unimaginable for the Socialists to vote in support of the government. Faure argues that Bayrou has just signed the end of his. But who knows? Everything can happen in the next 2 weeks. We're going to have to wait for the 8th of September to find out.
Indeed. Okay, Emily, we're going to change gears now. You'll take us to Gaza, where a double strike killed several people, including medical staff and journalists. What more do you have?
Yes, a lot of condemnation in the press today about that double strike, and in particular in the Middle East Eye here, the UK-based media. They're mourning two of their journalists today who are among the 20 killed in that strike, Mohamed Salama and Ahmed Abu Aziz. This is a photo here of a man holding up their equipment after the strike. Now, this article goes into great details about what happened. It describes how Israeli forces bombed the fourth floor of the hospital around 11 a.m. It then talks about a video showing a strike hitting the building a few moments later, something which this article says demonstrates that it was deliberately aimed at reporters, bystanders and first responders who had gathered around to help. The Guardian is also remembering one of the journalists killed in that strike, photojournalist Mariam Abu Daga. They have this profile of her and her work. Some of her most noticeable recent photos was a report on emaciated children and their families. Finally, on this, Sky News had this article here today saying that even if Israeli forces aren't deliberately targeting journalists, they're still killing a great number. The article says that the war in Gaza has been the deadliest period ever for journalists, killing more than 192 Palestinian journalists since it began on the 7th of October 2023.
We're going to turn back to the United States now, Emily. So Charles, our business editor, just took us through some of that context about Lisa Cook and the Federal Reserve. But you have some interesting analysis pieces. Tell us more.
There's a lot in the American press today about this, but I have two articles that I suggest you read if you want to read up on what Charles was talking about. First of all, this article in Fortune magazine is focusing on the titanic struggle for what it calls the world's most important central bank. This article looks into who Trump is trying to get rid of and who he's trying to replace them with. Firing Cook and filling another vacancy would effectively mean a Trump-appointed governor's majority on the Fed board, and they go into how he's going about that. The New York Times, meanwhile, here's this article here. It's looking at the legality of Cook's firing. This article says that the president is only able to remove Fed officials for gross misconduct. But the article also highlights that Trump considers those limits on the president's power unconstitutional, and he has already said that he must be allowed to remove officials for any reason or even no reason at all.
Finally, Emily, you have some art news for us.
Yes, this is an interesting story in the Telegraph here. Nazi looted art discovered after 80 years thanks to real estate ad. A portrait of a lady by Italian painter Giuseppe Gislandi was spotted hanging in this living room. The photo was posted as part of an ad for a house in Argentina, but the house was being sold by the daughter of Goering's financial advisor. The painting was part of a Dutch art dealer's, Jacques Goodsticker was his name, his collection. Goodsticker died at sea trying to escape Britain after the Nazis discovered he was helping Jewish people escape too. His artworks were then confiscated by Goering, his family now hoping to get the painting back after more than 80 years before it disappeared.
Emily Boyle with the press review. Thank you very much.